Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. My name is Winged Supernova. If you could tell in the last part, the ending of it, yes, it was a little rushed. I got a phone call. So yeah, I just decided to end it right there, especially considering we were reaching the time limit. But I shouldn't have any more distractions for a little while at least. So let's try presenting this and see what's up. What exactly is this piece of evidence supposed to reveal about Mr. Natsume's tea, Counsel? Well, okay, no. I don't think this is it. Well, I suspect it may possibly be related to the tea in some small way. If we dig deep enough, then you will be digging for a very long time indeed, my learned friend. Oh, even at the bottom of the deepest chasm, you will find no sense in that absurd assertion. And this is where I reload, because I don't want to lose all my bullshit. Sometimes I wish I could disappear down a deep chasm to escape his deep sarcasm. So it wasn't the tea cups that had something to do with Mr. Soseki's tea. Actually, I haven't looked at this yet. Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors, did they? Yes, whoever opened it was clearly someone with an unrefined temperament. And judging from the angle of the rip here, the person in question must have been right-handed. Miss Susato. I think perhaps someone's been reading too much of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. You can never read too much of it, Mr. Naruhodo. Never! Okay. Yeah, we don't really have any other info about this. Evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea. Are we gonna say is the box again? Because that's not evidence of the crime. This was a crime scene photo. That was at the scene. That was at the scene. That was at the scene. That really wasn't at the scene. That was at the scene, but it has nothing to do with it. So we really have two choices here. We have the photograph and we have the box. Tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea. I'm just gonna scroll back up. Some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene, and a particular piece of evidence proves it. So we have to prove that his tea was left at the scene. I don't know how this would tell us. Maybe this. I don't know. Nope. Alright. Well, just gonna be a trial and error on this one, because I have no idea what they're looking for here. Oops, wrong button.
Take that!
Well. Interesting. So it's not either of the ones that I thought it would be. Are we gonna say it's the soap again? I mean, we don't really have much other evidence. We are saying it's the soap again, so are we saying that his tea was used to make the coins for the soap? And that it's outside the window, potentially? Good gracious! The soap again? The same bar the victim used to fashion his coins of ice? Yes, that's right, my lord. It's just come back to me. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window? I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. So you discovered the gas thief's coin factory. Fascinating. In a way, yes, but there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice. There was something strange about them, you mean? Exactly. Something very obviously strange. They were red. The ice was red? No, you mean... That's right. It's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea. So we're saying that potentially the tea stain that's on the floor there could be tested for poison? Maybe? What? I would remind the court of a statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in this trial. That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shamspeare's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never! Ah, yes, I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains in the East End are prone to freezing. So on the night in question, Mr. Shamspeare, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins. My word! That's an interesting choice. There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene. That's right, and we only borrowed one of them. Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime, frozen solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Shamspeare's window. Extraordinary. Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that even if 1 drop of the tea remained, Scotland Yard would be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove or disprove what has until now been mere conjecture. By finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contained strychnine at all. Ugh, you smug Nipponese. My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bar of soap from the scene at once. And the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it to determine whether or not it contains any poison. Good job. We battled back. We got it to a point where we have to have the judicial assistants do some more investigating. Bailiff, bailiff, instruct the police to attend the scene at once. Yes, my lord, understood. I did not give him as weird of a voice this time. It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. I trust you have no objection, Lord Van Zeeks. None, my lord. Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out the requisite tests immediately. The trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow. The prosecution and defense may conduct further investigations as appropriate in the interim. Hey, we get a double day! Yes, my lord. This is the first 2-day case that we've had in Great Ace Attorney so far. Well, we managed to scrape through there somehow. Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned until tomorrow. I'm glad I save-scummed for that last piece of evidence we had to present so that we retain 4 badges for the next portion of the trial. Alright, so Into the investigation portion again. Oh, we're upstairs this time. The desk is gone for some reason. 22nd February, 1:11 p.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Whew, we made it back in one piece. Just. To be perfectly honest, I thought we were finished there for a while. Oh, I know. What a lot of close shaves. There are so many carriages on the streets of London. You were very nearly flattened several times. We're not talking about the same thing, Susato. Oh, no. I didn't mean that. Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruhodo-san. It really was. I was in awe of you. Oh, thank you. And now that your fervent exploits have won us some more precious investigation time, let's see if we can't find some new clues for court tomorrow. Yes, let's do that. I don't know if I'd have the energy after going through one of these trials to go right back out to the scene of the crime and investigate some more. That'd be taxing. Is everything all right? I suppose. I still can't quite believe it. That England. The truth is, it shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. It should be Kazuma. It was Kazuma-sama's wish that you follow him to Great Britain and work alongside him. Yes, I mean, I never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but he clearly had a plan. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. And you're doing wonderfully, Naruhodo-san. I've no doubt that Kazuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us. Thank you, Susato-san. Thank you. Alright. Boop boop. I guess we'll talk about Kazuma's wishes. Kazuma Asogi, the best friend I ever had, and a lawyer with such promise. He really saved my bacon in that horrible incident just before we left Japan. I can still picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court. And then after the trial, that crazy idea he came up with. As a stowaway? Yes, you can find it inside my trunk if you curl up small enough, I'm sure. No one will know. Kazuma, won't you tell me why? Why go to these lengths so that I can accompany you to Great Britain? Well, it's been on my mind ever since we got through that trial. But you really ought to go into law. Be a defense lawyer. You've got a natural talent for it, believe me. I guarantee it. But I've never even thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, I can't force you, obviously. You'll have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London is the cultural capital of the world, the city at the forefront of everything. It can't hurt for you to see it with your own eyes. No, that's true. I suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer, then one day... One day what? Oh, no. Never mind. Naruhodo-san? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about Kazuma. Yes, he's forever in my thoughts, too. To change the Japanese judicial system for the better. That was his dream. And that's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course. Yes, that's right. But... Yes? I do wonder if his true intentions lay elsewhere sometimes. I don't know. The thought just takes hold of me every now and then, that's all. Ooh. We got more. Naruhodo-san, what do you mean by Kazuma-sama's true intentions? Ooh, the sword. I mean this. His katana? I never expected him to inherit this sword after Kazuma passed away, of course. I never expected. Okay. I bludgeoned that sentence a bit. No, I know. It was because I asked you to take it. When I have it at my side in court, I feel as though it gives me courage. Yes. Actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. Interesting. Karuma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. Something you have to do? Yes. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. What did he mean by something very important that I have to do? I had hoped that the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrived here, but as yet I've not found a single clue. I see. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and move. Where do we want to move? Want to see Iris first? I suppose we should. Is she done writing by now? Oh, Runo and Susie! Hooray, you're back! Hello, Iris. You're in fine spirits as always, I see. I am, and you look as immaculately presented as ever, Susie. Oh, you flatter me. Well, you couldn't have come at a better time. I've just made a pot of tea. I'll set some cups. Really? Oh, wrong voice. Really? Thanks, Iris. But actually, what is that foul smell? Aha! The Wanderers return at last! Where on earth have the pair of you been? We've been in court? Oh, for Mr. Mustache's case. That was today, was it? I'm sure I mentioned it only yesterday, Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure you think you did. Ha 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 ha! Well, we can laugh about it now. So tell me, how did the trial go? Reasonably well so far. We've managed to escape without a guilty verdict, at least. Really? I would have liked to see it. And I must pass the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long. Is Lord Van Zieks an acquaintance, Mr. Sholmes? Naturally. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know my name, Mr. Naruhodo. Not quite what I asked, but still. Mr. Sholmes, whatever is that odor? Yes, what is it? It's faint, but absolutely awful. Ah, indeed. That's the scent of victory, my dear fellows. Victory in science. Oh, dear. That's the correct response to that. Alright, I'll bite. What's he up to now? I suppose we will, we'll figure that out. Lord Barak Van Zieks. Yes, it's an interesting sobriquet he has, isn't it? The Reaper of the Bailey. Once the legendary prosecutor has fought for someone's conviction, that person is doomed. Even if he or she is found not guilty by the courts, sooner or later the hapless soul will vanish from the capital. But vanish how exactly? By falling under a passing carriage, or drowning in the Thames, or succumbing to a sudden fever, or, quite out of the blue, being set upon by a highwayman. There are numerous routes to one's final terminus, my dear fellow. It all seems a little far-fetched, really. Well, on the bright side, Mr. Mustache is fighting fit, for the time being, at least. That's not overly reassuring. If the rumors are true, though, the obvious conclusion would surely be that those acquitted are, well, by Lord Van Zieks' own hand. As it happens, Miss Susato, that is quite impossible. Oh? Why? Naturally, the man very quickly came under such suspicion. However, whenever these incidents occurred, the Reaper always had a cast iron alibi. Really? And so his reign continued, but 5 years ago, he vanished from the courts, never to appear as a prosecutor again. That is, until you arrived in the country, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, so I've heard. In fact, it was the very day I arrived when I was thrust into that trial at the Old Bailey. A bitter fight to the death coincided with the Reaper's resurrection, and really did end bitterly indeed. And here you are, facing Mr. Reaper again.
Poor Bruno, I don't know if you're just incredibly unlucky or incredibly unlikable.
I think it goes deeper than just me. I sense a general loathing of all Japanese people. So, what is that indescribably foul smell? Ah, well, most probably this, I would say. What is that? My dear fellow, it is, of course, my latest invention. A chemical test that can identify whether or not a tea is genuine at the drop of some tea.
Oh my!
There are some unscrupulous sorts manning the stalls along some of London's less frequented streets. They regularly sell what purports to be high-quality tea, but is in fact merely dyed leaves of drab flavor. Well, that's certainly unsavory behavior. So, when one is presented with what appears to be black tea, one must be careful. Iris!
At the ready, Hurley.
Let us add a drop of my chemical to this cup of tea here. Do you see what happens? It's turned completely black. And what a foul odor it's giving off. Indeed, the blacker the tea becomes and the more foul the odor, the better the tea is. It would appear that this cup was a particularly fine Darjeeling. That's very ingenious, but what do you do with that black liquid now? Why, dispose of it, naturally. Surely you wouldn't like to drink it, would you?
There does seem to be a rather obvious problem with your new invention, Mr. Sholmes.
Hence why this chemical test is merely a test, my dear madam. Right. The point is, we are entering a new era of science. In the world of criminal investigation, also.
Yes, forensic science. Oh, these are such exciting times.
I regularly engage in this scientific experimentation alongside my unofficial consulting detective work. The Herlock-Sholmes method will be the foundation upon which modern investigative technique is based. This little tea indicant was a happy byproduct of my ongoing forensic science research. Forensic science? I suppose I should find out more about that. Alright, we'll just be talking to him for the entire episode. With Mr. Natsume, who I'm currently defending, being Japanese as well as Miss Susato and myself, I felt it even more keenly in court today. For some reason, Lord Van Ziek seems to have an inherent disdain of the Japanese. Indeed, it is an interesting observation.
Do you know something about it? Do you, Mr. Sholmes?
It was about 10 years ago that Barak Van Zieks chose to enter the legal profession. However, before that time, the young man's closest companion hailed from the Empire of Japan.
No!
What the? Tell us more, Mr. Sholmes. What happened? I believe I've made it clear before. I'm unable to tell you anything about the affair.
Oh, but...
The veil will be lifted on the events of the past in due course, I have no doubt. For now, however, it is Mr. Moustache who is most deserving of your attention, I believe. Interesting. So that's going to be like the inherent finality of this game and this whole sort of series of Great Ace Attorney games. It's going to have to deal with the Asogi clan most definitely as well. So your T-test, is that an example of forensic science? Indeed it is. An essential tool in cases that hinge on the knowledge of whether some tea is of high or inferior quality. Not a huge number of cases then. Perhaps a more practical example is required. Fingerprints? Not yet accepted in our courts as evidence, I might add. Really, we are dragging our heels here. I haven't even heard of them until recently. Which is partly why I undertake research in this field myself, of course. Does that mean you're studying fingerprints, Mr. Sholmes? There are others in that field already, and I abhor the company of inferior minds. No, what I am researching is skin prints. Skin prints? A nomenclature of my own design, as is this chemical agent that makes it possible. It instantly reveals objects touched by whichever person is under investigation. Brilliant, Mr. Sholmes. As long as it doesn't turn everything completely odorous and black. I assure you, my dear fellows, you will witness my forensic talents in action very soon indeed. I sure hope so. Maybe we'll find new clues at the scene of the crime with those two things. Well, I think we should go back to the scene and see if we can uncover any new clues. That's the spirit, Runo. See you later. Yes, until later. No, Mr. Sholmes, we were thinking you'd come with us. You were? Yes, of course. You said so just a moment ago. You said we witnessed your forensic talents in action. Yes, I do recall saying something along those lines. But you go on ahead. I shall be sure to follow you later, in all likelihood. Probably. Maybe. Well, I might. Your commitment astounds me. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. We'll eagerly await your arrival. Bye-bye, Runo. Bye-bye, Susie. Alright. See you later. I guess we'll go to Miss Green. We'll just go right down the list, huh? St. Bartholomew's Hospital Recovery Ward. What do you suppose is happening? It sounds like some sort of disturbance. Yes, I hear angry voices. Oh, these two are here? Be not angry, O ample lady. Verily, thou art mistaken. Mistaken, my foot! You were looking at my painting. The eye of man hath not heard. The ear of man hath not seen. 'Twas foul indeed, the poison that mustached villain gaveth me. Forgive me, lady. I wish that you died from that poison. Fucking Christ. Holy shit. God of mercy, ample lady. But thou seest, I have vigor still. Behold, my Shakespeare I hate everything about these two. Well, not these two, just him, but... This looks rather ominous, doesn't it? That's not the word I would have used, Susato. Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer from the land whence riseth the sun. How now? What are you doing here, Mr. Shamspeare? Mary, I do believe I am returned unto another ward. He was looking, that's what he's doing! Looking at my terrible work! Eastern fellow, so dark clad. I've never seen anything with that combination of letters. Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee. Oh, well, thank you. But that doesn't mean things will go so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it? The animation sometimes astounds me in this game. Anon, exeunt. Does that mean he's leaving? Okay. Mr. Shamspeare might technically be the victim in this case, but there's definitely a lot more to it than that. It's very hard to pin the man down. Well, yeah, especially considering he speaks in Old English.
I'm so sorry. I'm such an awful person.
Ah, Miss Green, is everything alright?
Oh, yes, I mean, don't worry about me. They're about to discharge me, so I must get ready to leave now.
Oh, I see.
We're delighted that you'll soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green. Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it.
So, can we talk to you a little bit? So, are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green?
I am, thank you. I mean, people do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me.
Well, yes, it really was an ordeal, wasn't it?
As far as I was concerned, I was just walking along the snow one evening, minding my own business. And then, completely out of the blue, I was struck in the back by a knife and collapsed unconscious for days. Of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, the whole business had been cleared up already. What a terrible week it's been for you. Oh no, I'm sure I'm very lucky, really. I'll look back on this fondly.
Really?
Anyway, I must be getting my things together now, so I'm ready to be discharged.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry to take up your time when you're obviously busy. Okay. Is there anything else to examine in here? Yeah, that's the button. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything else to examine. It was just talking to her. I wonder if she's gonna play a role in the rest of this. But for now, it looks like that's it. So, back to the scene of the crime we go. Oh boy. You know, that floorboard right there freaks me out. That's the first thing that I notice. Oh, hello again, Inspector Gregson. What are you doing here? Well, we were hoping to have another look around, actually.
The lawyer representing the defendant has a right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah, I know the score. Oh, yes, one other thing. The soap on the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? With the tea in it? Yeah, we found it all right. And there was a small amount of tea in it, as you said. I knew it. It's with the identification section at the yard now. They're looking into it. The results should be available later today.
That's wonderful news. Thank you.
Pretty impressive performance in court this morning.
Sorry?
Nothing. Forget it. Just make sure you don't disturb anything in here. Well, I want to immediately disturb something in here. Also, Sholmes is here. I love how he just pops in whenever you're supposed to examine something. He just pops in and he's like, yo, hey, what's up? If you ran out of change, you wouldn't even have any light, let alone heat. For the needy, London's winters can be very harsh.
What the fuck did I just say?
I feel like what came out of my mouth was not what I read.
That's true, but if you think about it, even the wealthy would find themselves freezing if they ran out of small change.
London's winters can be very harsh for the forgetful too, then. Frankly, I'm starting to wonder if Susato-san and I are going to make it to spring.
That's true. We don't even have a meter at Baker Street, let alone a gas stove.
Look how dark the stain on the floor underneath the meter. Look how dark the stain on the floor is underneath the meter there.
Yes, from all the water dripping out after the ice coins melted, as you established in court this morning.
It's a very large and obvious stain, isn't it?
Mr. Shamspear must have used an awful lot of ice coins, I suppose.
It was an ingenious idea, I'll give him that. I can check over to this side. I don't know exactly what that will do, but there's one candle. I can talk to Gregson, and I can talk to Sholmes. Sholmes is probably more progress, so I'll talk to Gregson first.
Are you looking for new clues, Inspector?
On Lord Van Zeek's orders, yeah. Don't come back till you've got something for me, he says.
Oh dear, poor you.
Yeah, poor me, because we've already searched every bleeding nook and cranny in this place. I don't know what he expects, to be honest. Thank goodness for warm chips is all I can say.
Well, at least he's honest. How does he not get fat eating those? Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there?
What a question indeed. Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene? Oi! What are you doing here, Sholmes?
What are you up to over there? What are you doing here?
Dear me, once a great detective, one is always under scrutiny, it seems.
Is now the time, Mr. Sholmes? Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action as you promised?
With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madam.
What is all this? Ooh, that looks interesting.
All this is precisely what you requested, Mr. Naruhodo.
Damn, he's got a fucking revolver with it.
I like Sholmes' sensational skin print seeker gun. Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim.
A sample? From Mr. Shamspeare's cup.
Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches. A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this, a refined indicator solution. By liberally spraying the room with this chemical, everything the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Here, try them on.
Oh? Oh, interesting.
There, now spray the chemical indicator about and all will be revealed.
Spray? How do I do that exactly?
A little press of A on the area you're interested in is all that's required. Like this.
Ah, what is that stuff? It's like fog.
A suspension of the chemical indicator in a pressurized gas. It's the most efficient way to cover a large area. That was another invention I discovered incidentally whilst I was developing this idea.
As you do.
Go ahead, try it, my dear fellow. We may learn something interesting about the victim's movements on the night in question.
Well, there's nothing to lose, I suppose. Let's explore. Okay. What we got? There's stuff on the jacket. Aha! Yes. I thought that looked suspicious. Oh, look at this. Look at all this here.
Yes, interesting. A multitude of the victim's handprints.
Why are there so many of them on the floor in this one spot? Ooh, perhaps he just had a bad fall here? There's nothing obvious that he would have tripped over, though, is there?
I wonder. Personally, I often stumble when there's nothing obvious to trip over.
I think that's something only a great detective would do, Mr. Sholmes.
Yeah, like Inspector Clouseau. Well, this is quite a puzzle. Handprints all over the floor.
Yes, there's no obvious explanation. Yeah, there is. Are you kidding me? Oh, there we go. Stuff on the chair. Nothing on the wall. Stuff there. Stuff there. Yeah, I was gonna say there should be some there. Oh, the painting. Look, there are dozens of handprints here.
So there are, a great many indeed. So much so that it's hard to make out any one individual print, in fact.
Ooh, it sends a chill down my spine. Perhaps he was leaning against the wall while he admired this picture?
Unlikely, I would say. It's a rather dull scene, after all.
And without wishing to state the obvious, you wouldn't generally admire a picture from such close quarters, I feel.
Oh, very true, Miss Susato. It's a bit of a mystery, then. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this is, something else. Well, we sprayed Mr. Sholmes' amazing skin print indicator all over this room, didn't we?
We did, but there are 2 places in particular that are of interest, I would say.
The handprint on the floor, the handprints on the floor there, and on the wall by the picture, you mean?
Yes, and I think the floor warrants closer investigation. It won't be a moment?
I won't be a moment.
Ah!
What is it, Miss Susato?
I got a splinter. Look here, Mr. Naruhodo. One of the floorboards has popped out.
One of the... You mean... It's a secret hiding place? Excellent work, Miss Susato. So, what do we have in here? Oi! What are you lot doing? Inspector Gregson, stand aside right this minute. It's my job to investigate there. I have to do something. Holy shit, that's a huge fucking chip. No need, Inspector. You continue to dig into your portion of chips whilst we dig around under the floor here. Your fancy talk's putting me off my food anyway, Sholmes. A new bit of evidence is exactly what I need. Wow, a secret hiding place under the floor. What a find.
It's not a hiding place you could make use of in Japan. I don't think that I could lift a straw
Tatami mat. Yeah, no, it doesn't work in there. No, I know, but I never expected one of these wooden floorboards to move either. It's got me wondering about the wall over there, too. Aren't you curious?
Oh! I'll investigate at once. There's nothing behind the picture, sadly. Only the wall.
How disappointing. But then, how do you explain the handprints?
I really can't think why anyone would have been touching the wall over and over in one place like that.
Oh, it takes a picture? There you are. A print for you. Oh, okay. No. He took the picture. Discovered using the skin print seeker gun, there are multiple prints on either side of the hanging picture. Oh, thank you very much. His invention can make prints, too? I want to check that print real quick. That is very odd indeed. I feel like it might have something to do with the lamp. Interesting. Now then, I wonder if Inspector Gregson has found anything under the floor over there. Oh, I'm desperate to know.
So am I.
Okay, Gregsy. Time to tell us what's up. Love to know if there's anything hidden underneath that floorboard there. Allow me to ask Gregson now. After all, we're well acquainted. Inspector Gregson, really, it's been too long. What is it, Sholmes? I thought perhaps you might show me what you found there, seeing as we're such good friends. We're not friends. No, I suppose not. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. I'd kill to know what was under that floorboard. Alright then, fair's fair. What? You did discover the hiding place after all. I suppose I should at least fill you in. Really, Inspector? Thank you. This song in particular is... I'm trying to remember exactly which game it came from. I think it came from multiple games, but I remember it most fondly from the Investigations games, I think. I might be wrong. But yeah, this is just the 1900s England version of one of the songs from the original trilogy / just original series. Do it quickly, my dear fellow. If there's one thing I know about this man, it's that he blows with the wind, as fickle as the weather. Oi, stop making me out to be some kind of nut. There were 3 items under the floor there. A newspaper clipping, a photographic print, and a tin box. Now, what do you want to know? All of it. Looks like this was cut out of the paper about 3 months ago. It's about a convict who got sick and died while he was serving time up in Manchester. How terrible. It made the headlines down here in London as well. Oops, hit the wrong button. Trying to one-hand the controller. The bloke had been sentenced to death, you see, but nature got him first.
Oh my goodness, he'd committed a capital offense?
Man by the name of Selden. Nasty piece of work into burglaries and murder. They say the hoard he knocked off was worth about £1,000.
A hoard? Of treasure, you mean?
Jewelry and the like, but he'd hidden it somewhere, and no one knows where, and now he's dead. The papers loved it, of course. £1,000 lost en route to hell, or some such was the headline. Does it not strike you, though? Why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor?
I've never seen that word before.
I suppose now you mention it, it does seem a bit odd. Perhaps I'll go over the paperwork we've got on Selden back at the yard and see if I can turn anything up.
Alright. This is going to be more in depth, I think.
So, this is the photograph I found. Looks reasonably recent to me.
Garadeb and someone else. Oh, he's got artwork stuff. Maybe he has something to do with Miss Olive.
Yeah, yes, it would appear to have been taken out on the street in front of the house here.
And the gentleman on the left is Mr. Garadeb, the landlord, of course. But who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garadeb's son, perhaps?
I doubt it. Perhaps. You can take that print if you like.
Really? Are you sure?
We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows. The identity of the young fellow, that is.
Ah! Is that true?
Well, it's too bad if we do. Unfortunately for you lot, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes.
My dear Inspector, if I may be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure, but this is for work.
All the more reason I'm not telling you. A dismal failure.
Yes, I heard.
Their banter is great.
I wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. I mean, Mr. Shamspeare himself isn't in it. Photographic prints are still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garadeb was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud present of it. Maybe we should go talk to Mr. Garadeb about it then.
Now this tin box looks interesting, doesn't it?
Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open it? If you were to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case, I wouldn't be in the least surprised.
Yeah, funnily enough, I've already had a look. It's completely empty. Oh, what? Shempspeare, give us a clue, man.
You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruhodo. But anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box.
Yes, thin air. It's empty, rather like how I feel inside. You okay, Ryunosuke? Is there nothing more to this box then? I wonder. The cat! The cat! If anyone watches Whose Line Is It Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. That's the cat from Soseki's room, right? The cat!
Oh, look! It's that lovely little kitty cat. What was its name?
It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him, actually. Why don't we call it, Wagahai? You know, like Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese. I wonder how he got in here. Clever cat.
Oh, wonderful! Well then, Wagahai, here's something delicious I bought for you in the cat's meat man.
Ooh, lights are flickering. It's a little bit windy outside. I hope the power doesn't go out while I'm recording. Meow. Num num. Cat go num num and sleep.
He couldn't be happier now, look.
I just hope we can bring some happiness to his owner, too. Are we not going to talk about how Wagahai got in here? Meow. Look at that cat. It's got a little bow tie. Thanks, Wagahai. That was a cheeky little meow, Wagahai.
Oh, but he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever.
I think he may not appreciate that after a while, and we have an investigation to get back to. Okay, well, I wish I could check behind this because he came from there. I want to know how he's traveling from room to room. I think that might be paramount to figure out. Because if we can figure out an alternative entry method into this room, that destroys the whole no one else could have gotten in here theory, right? I suppose we have to move then. I don't know what this will do, but we'll go out here. Examine. Is there anyone else? The snowman. No. It does not look like there is anything out on Briar Road at the current moment. So, we'll just go to the Gyarados room. But, before we start a long-ass conversation with Mr. Gyarados over this photo, potentially, I think we're going to call it here for now, because this is running up on 53 minutes. It'll take a while to go through that conversation. So, that's going to be it for now. Thank you guys very much for watching. But before we go, real quick, I wanted to talk about a couple of games looking forward to next year that we're going to look at or potentially play on the channel. One of them is going to be The Somnium Files 2. We are definitely going to be playing that. I love the first game to death, so definitely looking forward to that. Even already pre-ordered the collector's edition, so maybe I'll do like a small little unboxing video for that. Probably not, though. And then the other one is also by Spike Chunsoft, and it's the collaboration with Kodaka, who made the Danganronpa series, and his company 2Q Games. It was like, God, I don't remember the exact name of it, but it was like Code Rain, something to that effect. You should go look up the trailer for it, just like Spike Chunsoft Rain, and then yeah, there's a small trailer for it. We don't know when it's coming, but we know that it's coming out next year, and it looks incredible. It's got the Danganronpa art style, but it's like late night, rainy city, mystery, sort of fantastical beings and supernatural stuff. Yeah, I hope it's really good. And there's also like murder and death and stuff like that. They reuse the pink blood archetype from the Danganronpa series. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. The animations and the artwork look like the best that anything Kodaka's ever made, or Spike Chunsoft really has ever made. I really like it. So those two games, looking forward to playing those next year. And yeah, we'll see what else I can drum up for content in January into February after this game's over with. So that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!